which is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. We're finally talking about this game, so it's time to revisit one of the most beloved SNES memories, or our beloved SNES memories, with our latest game of Summer of the Year, 1995 nominee, the colourful and charming Yoshi's Island. Swinny, what are your initial thoughts on this game? What kind of tingles your little mind berries?
I played this game.
That sentence.
I played for this game. I played this game for the first time this week, man. This game's all right. Yeah, whatever. No, this game is very beloved. I never owned this game. Big thanks to Integot for constantly lending me this game when we were much younger.
What a champion.
And this game is glorious. Like, there's a lot I have to say about this game, so we'll get to it.
Yes. So, like, as you've just revealed, that I had a copy of this also. So we played this when it came out, which is like how old we are. Yeah. But Mike, have you now we can finally reveal.
The big reveal.
You are just playing this pretty much for the first time.
Absolutely the first.
And,
yeah.
You know, you failed to play through Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest.
I got about 75% through, thank you very much. 75% through. That's a decent effort.
It's an 80-20 game. The hard part's the last part.
Yeah, but I don't have the kind of time that people had back then when that's pretty much the only game they had. You know, it wasn't like, oh my god, there's 50 games I can play.
Genuinely,
no, but it's a difficult game. It's a difficult game in the later part. It takes a lot of trial.
All right, Yoshi's.
So back to Yoshi's Island. So, look, I actually enjoyed this. So I probably got about 50, 60% of the way through based on what I saw by watching the rest of it on YouTube, because I actually did want to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it personally a lot more than I enjoyed Donkey Kong.
Are we calling this a fail, Swinny?
No. I just want to clarify.
Hey, you didn't play Full Throttle at all.
We will.
I did quarter.
Let's try to avoid too many comparisons to Donkey Kong, because the whole point of this is discussing the game.
Because that might give it away. That might give it away. Good point.
Discussing the game on its own merits.
Okay.
Yes.
Because when we get to our deliberations, that'll be when we actually talk about the two games together.
Yes, but
no but in this whatsoever. No,
that's
no
the title of the show. Yes, but
yes, but no, he has a very good point. So I enjoyed this game. Now I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you guys did because of the fact that you played it way back when it was initially launched, I guess. And because you guys know that I'm not the biggest fan of these kind of platforming games. I like other types of, like, Flashback, that kind of platforming game, if you could count it as that. And Metroidvania style kind of platforming games.
Well, it's not a platformer, but yeah, go on.
Well, it's not a platform, but it is really.
No.
It's you're still kind of a 2D navigating the world kind of thing. But yeah, if you know. Again, I think it's purely based on the fact that you need to have experienced these things back then. I still appreciate it for what it is, other than the really, really, really annoying crying baby every time I would lose Mario. Man, after a while, like, even my girlfriend's like, what the F is up with that baby constantly crying? Because obviously I lost him a lot. But that's probably, like, my main gripe, because the level design from what I played was really, really cool. I like the fact that it introduced a lot of different concepts. So as I'm playing it, it felt like there's always something new and different, whether it's teleporting and becoming a different, like the mall, for example, and the elements it adds to that, whether Baby Mario gets the star and then gets to speed up everywhere. I love those elements. It was really cool and different, and there was always something new to look forward to. I also actually, for a good chunk at the start of the game, tried to get everything on the map. So I tried to get to fully complete everything at the end, which is kind of cool. So there is like a natural drive to want to do that stuff because the level design is pretty cool. And there were a few tricky parts where I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to kind of get to that quick enough and do this? So I actually quite enjoyed this game for what it is, even by today's standards. For
what it is, that's like a backhanded compliment.
It's not. I'm not trying to make it a backhanded compliment. It's just that, again, people need to realize I'm certainly not hating on this game. I appreciate what this game did, but I wasn't born with these games. I didn't I didn't live these games when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I
We
played
weren't
completely
born with
different
it either,
games.
but yeah.
No, but like you guys got to appreciate these at a certain age, when you weren't tainted by, 20 years of gaming since then, basically. Or is it even more than that? 1995. Holy moly, it's even more than that. So it's really hard to go back to something. And I'm not saying that it doesn't hold the test of time, because it absolutely holds the test of time.
You are saying that.
No, it holds the test of time. I don't have the same, dare I say, rose tinted glasses as you guys do, because I didn't. And look, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I actually wish I could have experienced this when it came out. I would have loved this game. I would have absolutely loved this game. Same as Donkey Kong. If I had a SNES back then, oh my god, I reckon I would have had an awesome childhood.
I like how it's when he's like, don't mention Donkey Kong.
Well, no, I'm saying any of those games. They're awesome games.
This is like the ultimate backhanded compliment segment. It's like, oh, I'm sure this game would have been good if I played it back in the day.
Well, it is, because if you guys played the games that I played back in the day, like Ultima 8, it doesn't hold up. No,
I played Ultima.
You didn't play Ultima 8. I don't think you guys have even seen screenshots of Ultima 8.
Okay, you're totally wrong. I'm not saying I played Ultima 8, but I've played one of the Ultimates.
No, I said Ultima 8. Ultima 8 specifically,
I don't know if I
said.
played Ultima 8. I'm checking now.
So Ultima 8 is one of my favorite games of all time. If you guys were to play it now, I don't think you'd enjoy it.
I think I played Ultima 8, man. I think this is the actual game I played. Though. No, I liked it back in the day.
I reckon you played 7. That was the big one that everyone played.
I don't think so. I'm looking. No, it definitely didn't look like this. It looked like Ultima 8. Okay, I don't think they got different. So anyway,
I love that game to bits. But what I'm saying is, if you were to try to play it now, I don't know. I don't know if many people would be as into it. So, and look, this is just a personal opinion, obviously. I don't know how many people would play it now and any of these games and go, oh, this is the most amazing game ever. Like, genuinely saying that, not just saying it because they want to, give it credit for what it is. But yeah, so look, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I thoroughly enjoyed the game, but I didn't enjoy it enough to want to go finish it.
Can we both simultaneously do like a side punch, Swinny? So both punch him in the head. You gotta reach the other way. Douche, douche, douche.
Look, you want my? I could lie and say, oh, it was such an amazing experience. Absolutely loved it, but I can't.
I have a button to turn this into a 2-person podcast. I'm just about. All right, Swinny, do you want
about people that actually have played the game thoroughly and?
All right, so I'll just say, look, I probably should have brought up pre-show about, I guess, maybe how we run this, but I thought maybe we'd talk about some stuff we did like and some stuff we didn't like. Mike's obviously covered that all in one go, but it's not his fault. Like, I didn't mention it.
Yeah, he did cover it.
No, I liked a lot of elements about it.
So basically, there's a lot of stuff I like in this game. Like, this game is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, if I had a top 10, it's going to place pretty damn high in that top 10. Just this game, like, I just want to start with the mechanics, right? Because there's a lot in this game, but this game does stuff that just SNES games and 16-bit games just didn't do back then. Like, the whole egg mechanic is so genius. Like, it's so easy to pick up. And, there's 2 control styles, but let's just say the one where you press the button and it starts the cursor, and you press it again to shoot, which I think is called patient, and the other one's hasty.
Yeah.
Where you hold it and then you release it.
I actually tried both, by the way.
But everything to do with the egg mechanic is just so genius. So the way they work into design is just... That's also saying, like, games didn't do this back then. It just added so many cool things to it. Even, like, skimming the eggs across the water. Like, the way it introduces and the way that it plays out in that level, I think it's the naval piranha fort, where you essentially learn about skimming eggs and you have to use that against the boss and things like that. Everything to do with the control of Yoshi with the fluttering and the ground pounds. Like, again, these aren't stuff that was really done back then. Generally, like, 16-bit platformers were just generally, okay, I've got a jump button, I've got a shoot button, and maybe I've got, like, one extra move. Like, adding an entire new mechanic where you're fluttering and, staying up in the air and then you launch higher off another enemy. Just some of the mechanics are just amazing and just genius the way they added it in. Mike, you mentioned the transformations. To me, that's a cool way to add to change up the flow of the level. They're not all great. Some are cooler than others, which I'll get to when we talk about stuff that we don't like. But you mentioned I've thrown in some mechanics, but it's more like design. the 100%ing by getting like the 5 flowers, making sure you get 30 stars at the end and the 20 coins. As you said, you feel compelled to do it more than even like Donkey Kong Country 2. We talked about that last week, because like the sound effects they build into it, and the fact that if you get 100% at the end of the level or you don't, it feels really like you feel like there's something missing if you don't get that like little music cue at the end. So it's just so many things to do with that. So I don't know if there's anything on there you want to touch on into that.
Yeah, look, like my opening salvo is that, Super Metroid is my favorite game of all time. It was about 2 years to develop that game on a similar sized team. Super Mario World was about 1.5 years, like, because it was backed up after Super Mario Brothers 2, which was a bit rushed, Super Mario World. This game was like 4 years in development.
Wow.
Right? And it shows.
It's a lot for back then.
And it's fascinating. It's a fascinating reflection of Nintendo as well. It's like, they felt that this game wouldn't stand up if it didn't have Super Mario World in the title. Like, which is fascinating to me. Like, I think this game totally stands up by itself, but kind of like they themselves didn't necessarily believe in it in a weird way. Like, a whole bunch of the dev team moved on to Mario 64 in the last year of development. But for me, like, that's sometimes where Nintendo does its best work, where, the full attention, especially late game, isn't on the project, and they're sort of off doing their own thing, allowing them to be a bit experimental. And you can kind of see it in this game. It's very much like Link's Awakening as well. Very much almost like started as a port of Link to the Past, and then they sort of like literally just threw in stupid shit because they thought it was funny, and it blossomed from there. And this game, the amount of creativity in it, the different things you can do, very like true to like that idea of like Nintendo being a place where they introduce a mechanic and then just throw it away. They're like, okay, we've done that 3 times in this level. You get the point. You'll never see that again. And there's just so much cool shit like that in this game, like secret worlds, secret levels, like World 4 with the monkeys, like late secret levels, just both drive me crazy, but also just like very iconic to me. And I know that it's interesting, Mike, because you haven't played this game, right? I don't think you're a massive platformer fan, but I can't say that the game would be awesome for someone who's just playing it, but that's how I feel about it, like from the start. Like, I would 100% recommend this game as a game that people must play. Like, and it's not a long game either, but to me, it's a total must-play game. And the other thing I just wanted to mention on just the art style and just how it's been executed, it's so fascinating how the dev team, they're like, oh, what's this little company in the UK and this massive game, Donkey Kong Country? Like, what the hell are they doing over there? And they literally, like, they're total assholes at some point, Nintendo, in a lovable way that I am as well, I'd like to believe, is that they saw the style that they went for and they're like, fuck them. We're going to go the complete opposite style to them and go as hard as possible in this this cartoon style that they've gone for and drawn kind of style. And to me it just looks like it's unreal.
Unique. It stands
like,
out.
You take this game and then take any game released the next year when like Mario, like Nintendo 64, PlayStation is out. This game shits all over those games today, if you're talking about comparing. And I don't think that's rose-tinted view. I think people, if anything, go back to the original, like, 3D generation, PlayStation, Saturn, 64, and go, wow, these games look really bad, actually. Like,
well, yeah, but that was a whole new generation.
Sure, but I mean,
polygon.
But I'm saying this to me is not rose-tinted glasses. This is like, if you play these games on like a CRT in particular, of like what they were designed to be played on, right? With the understanding of that technology and the shading that can happen and everything. Yeah. It just like, it fucking holds up. This is to me like a Beatles album, man. This is like,
I get you. I know.
It's not the current style, but it holds up, man. It's like, I'm kind of in agreement with Swinny. Like, for me, honestly, if I don't consider this in the Mario series. I don't know if you do, Swinny. Just because
it's called different to me than Mario, just because it's called that, Yeah, it's the Yoshi series, right? But I think this is the only, to me, like, this is on a pinnacle and the rest are just in its shadow. But honestly, if it wasn't the Mario series, man, this might be, like, if I had to pick one Mario game, this might be close to being it. Like, that's how much I love this game. It is an amazing game. And very little of it, like, I can actually kind of add to
in the next part of the segment, which is like what we didn't like, other than the funny thing that Mark said at the start with the crying baby Mario, which does shit me, but it's intentionally meant to be annoying. But it is very grating. Like, I feel like if they just had a sound that wasn't as extreme, it would be a little bit more pleasant.
Yeah, no, I want to mention some stuff I like about this game still. Sorry,
okay, go
like we've been waited so long to talk about this fucking
That's
game.
true. We haven't spoken about this game.
I am
Crazy.
like, this game is embedded in my heart, basically. Like this game. So I'll look. There's a lot I won't bring up because we just don't have the time. But to me, this game is just the details. This game has so much charm and so much heart. It just goes the extra mile. And you said, like, it was a long time in development, so they had more time probably than other games. But it's those little touches, like the fact that when you hit the egg blocks, the eggs don't land in the same spot each time.
Yeah.
Just things you don't probably think about, but just naturally just add to this experience of it just being something special. You know, like there's mud in the game, and if you land on the mud, it like makes this squelching sound, but then it also prevents you from accelerating instantly. It's these control things that, you know, these little touches. Just so much thoughtful design was put into this game that it's almost on another level for me. Like, I can't think of another SNES game that I think just from a design standpoint, just comes close to this game to me. Like, it is just crazy. Now, obviously, it's hard to compare a game with Super Metroid to something that's Yoshi's Island. But this game is just something else. It really is. Yeah,
look, I don't want to get into the like Super Metroid versus Yoshi Island, but like I would only just say, like, I feel like they're in that same category of like the lived-in world, and then for me, near perfect execution of what they're trying to do, right? Whereas, and Link to the Past, I love that game so much. Again, like maybe my favorite Zelda game. Like depends on the day you ask me, right? But there are parts of that game that are a little bit clunky and just like I don't love with a passion, and I find it a bit like I could take it or leave it. Whereas Yoshi's Island, like when I got the SNES Classic when it got released, I'm like, cool, like it's a real fun official way to relive a lot of these games that I've played many times, right? And fuck me, I just started playing Yoshi's Island. I didn't play anything else. I literally didn't play anything else. I 100%ed it all the way up to like World 5, and I'm like, I got to play other games on this SNES Classic. But I mean, like, I didn't feel bad about it. I think I just played like Super Metroid straight after it. Right? Just sticking to games I love. But yeah, man, it's such a good game.
But, look, it's not a perfect game. No game is perfect. For me, like, the screen scrolling sometimes can screw you over because it just acts a bit weird where you don't actually see what's below you because you've gone a bit too far in a certain direction. Some levels can drag on and feel a bit samey, especially like in the same world. Sometimes, like the jungle world, a lot of those levels do blend into one for me. But like when you sit down and look at them, they are quite different. But the feeling sometimes is a bit samey. There are a few levels that I don't like Poochie Ain't Stupid. Like that's the extra bonus level of World 1. I've never liked that level. It's hard as bones. It's
you
memorable.
Really find it that hard? Interesting.
Poochie Ain't Stupid to me is just can go get stuff. But other than that level, like generally, like all the levels are good. There are some things like the mole transformation, like the controls on that are just...
They're a bit chunky, yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where I just never fully understood it. It's just not very intuitive to me. Like half the time I end up going backwards and I'm like, why did that happen?
Because you're blind like a mole. Jeez.
Yeah, and just look, there's some enemy encounters that can get frustrating. Any of the bandits that steal Mario, like especially when they chuck a whole bunch of them. And it's challenging, but it's also like, God damn it, I just got 30 stars and now I've got, things. But even like, I'm not going to say Baby Mario crying is a bad thing because I actually think it drives the player so much to go get Mario. Because originally, they actually were going to make it where Mario just crawls on the ground if the enemy hits you or whatever. But what they realize is they really need want people to go after him.
The urgency.
Like they're like, okay, this is because you're protecting this baby. So it's an annoying sound, but I'm not going to say it's bad because it drives you. It's like, God damn it, I need to get Mario. This is not going to shut up.
Yeah, so. But my counterpoint to that is Metal Gear Solid, right? So you go, the emergency tone of when you've been discovered. Like that is like, that totally drives a sense of urgency for me. It's like, fuck, all right, I got to hide. Where's a cardboard box, right? But that tone and alert and the way they made that sound and the sound design for it doesn't make me go, oh my God, I hate this,
Yeah.
like, over time. So
Yeah,
that, I
I
mean,
love
I
it.
get what you're saying. I still think that is an annoying part. And you know, just on the controls, the one time that I really don't like I feel like the game's clunky is where you do lose Mario, Baby Mario. And it feels like you're fighting the game a bit with like where you're moving, where the camera's moving, where Baby Mario is going. Like to the point where it's like, I remember back in the day, and even when I've replayed it recently, it's like I'll try to shoot an egg or do something, and it just like doesn't work the way that I feel like it should. Like I feel like I'm fighting the game a little bit, but I don't have very much on the don't like list, to be fair.
Yeah. But look, oh, Mike, you can add more
No,
to you don't like lists.
Just no. Hey. Again, I should probably clarify my thoughts because
No,
I guess I don't
you've
express
been very
myself
clear.
properly sometimes.
You hate the game.
I think it's a great game. I think it's an absolutely brilliant game, and I wish that I had played it back when it came out. Unfortunately, I've been tainted by all these years of playing other games that my journey of what I find enjoyable in gaming is different. But I can't, at the same time, I still appreciate it for what it is. I absolutely do. And I think I also need to put into the context of what was around back then, especially if you look at what was around for SNES. And I can easily see, based on all the other games that I've seen on the SNES, as Swinny said, it is an amazing game for the platform. Like, arguably, I'm not going to say this, but arguably the best game of the platform for a hell of a lot of people. So yeah, look, don't take it the wrong way. I do totally appreciate the game. The one thing that I didn't appreciate as much is a tiny little gripe I have, which is the Pachinko inspired bonuses you can get at the end of some of the levels, where you have to scratch a lotto card, or I find that they're clearly inspired by that part of the Japanese culture, I guess. That as someone who you know has kids that I'm trying to protect, I just think encouraging a young audience to get into that mindset of being rewarded by that kind of stuff is freaking dangerous to some extent. That I personally, you know, if I was a game developer now, I definitely wouldn't include shit like that. But hey, you know, people have microtransactions and loot boxes and stuff like that nowadays, so it's no different.
It's very common for Nintendo games back in the day to have that. Like
Like, you
I've
had a
noticed
slot
that,
machine bonus.
Yeah. slot
Mario,
machine shit,
Wario, the Wario Land game.
I think they're creepy when you look at
Yeah,
it
I get it.
in that sense, but whatever. It's like it's a minor gripe in that sense.
And I feel like, Swinny, there's so many other things that we're not going to talk about that we could.
And
Like-
I know.
Like what?
Like the fact that there's like a drug level in this
Oh,
game.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
That is like insane. It's like
It's like the
literally a
third-
drug psychedelic
like-
level.
it's like the third or
I'm
fifth
trying to
level of the game or
remember.
something. It's get
Yeah,
hit
1-7. Touch fuzzy,
hit-
get dizzy.
touch fuzzy, get dizzy, and stuff like that. Anyway, I've got some final thoughts. I don't know if we want to get to wrap it up.
I didn't even realize those drugs.
No surprise that I absolutely adore this game. To me, this is definitely like hyperbole, but it's like, to me, the designer's game is like a love letter to games. Like it's it was like the swan song of that 16-bit
Yeah.
era, where it blended the 16-bit with modern design that would probably you'd start to see appear in the 32-bit games and everything. The game isn't perfect, but to me, its failures are graceful, and its failures are cut above probably the rest. You know, like even what it doesn't do well, it's still doing way better than its contemporaries. So, yeah, huge game for me from 1995.
Well, let's do this as a shit sandwich. So let's let Mike shit on the game, and then I'll close it out
No.
with a nice little complimentary piece. So go on, Mike.
I have nothing to shit on.
Well, you got your final thoughts. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are I enjoyed the experience for what time I had with it, and I really appreciate it in the context of when the game came out. It's a really good game.
Yeah, my final thoughts is that this is a good example of like, hey, no game's perfect, but this game's pretty damn close. And you know, it's this game, Super Metroid, you know, a few other games like Link to the Past. I still find it very hard to give up my idea that the Super Nintendo, which is, by the way, not the console I first kind of grew up with, which was more the NES, but that the Super Nintendo is like not the best console of all time. Like I just, you know, these type of games just absolutely, to me, 100% still hold up to this day. And, you know, like I'm really intrigued to see more people play this game for the first time and hear what they think about it. Because, yeah, like I feel like if you like platformers, I just can't even see that much fault in this game. Outside of, some of the things that Swinny said, some people probably find the levels a little bit too long, but yeah, I don't know. It's just such an awesome game, man. The art, I've been listening to the OST all week, and it's just like, it both brings back memories to, like, I feel like it's a bit of an underrated portion of the game. Like, the sound and, like, some of the actual, like, even the first levels sound and music is just so freaking awesome. And just executing this, toy box sound is just incredible.
It fits the game like a glove, even if some of it can get a little repetitive. It fits everything so well.
That is like literally the only criticism I have for the music. It's just not enough music.
Yeah.
Like when I listened to the OST, I was kind of going, okay, yeah, like 1.5 hours or something. It's like 36 minutes.
Whoa.
I was like, damn, really? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of very atmospheric at times.
Koji Kondo was a bit lazy that week. He didn't chuck enough tracks out.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the only thing that I could say that, like, I don't think the music's bad. It's just not enough music, like, in the grand scheme of it.
It's good, but just not enough of it.
Yes, but I, like, look, I've got a betting market around GOSOY 95, and, if you want to throw some cash at this game, it's a pretty good bet. But,
yeah, it is a pretty good bet because I basically don't have a proper say in four out of the.
What do you mean you don't have a proper say? You do. You have the deciding
because I didn't really
vote.
pick 4 out of the 6 games.
Yeah, I don't say that.
One of them I reluctantly picked.
2 of them, so we'll get there. We'll get there.
I guess I picked Chrono Trigger.
We all picked together. We all picked together. Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare.
And we've got a special, super awesome segment now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to close out the show,